Hey, everybody, welcome back to Acrisure Field. Or is it Stadium? No, I'm kidding. This is the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. Thanks to John DEK and Carol down there for taking wonderful care of Steel Son. He was down there this past weekend, had a great time, and was treated to, well, all kinds of wonderful things. So thank you to them. I am very, very happy to have somebody with us tonight. Chrissy has been with me longer than anybody else at SCB. She is the behind the scenes, do all the things on the website that I don't know how to do, which is most everything. And I love her to death. And I said, you know, when this whole name change thing happened, we started talking. I said, you got to come on. Without getting too specific, this is kind of the realm of what Chrissy does in her professional life. So I thought it would be great. Obviously, Ryan will have some comments on this as well. And I don't think Ben will have any comments because he rarely does. And I think Ian is still playing daddy tonight. And
he's got an infant. I really can't blame him.
An infant plus 5 others. And that's totally understandable.
I just can't even imagine it. And he's just like, yeah, if we have more, we do. What?
Right.
What?
Right.
You should go to the vet, dude. It's time. Time to go to the vet, Ian.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think it is. I'm telling you right now. I think now that he's got the basketball team plus 1, I mean, 3 more, and he'll have a baseball lineup. You know,
that's 5 more, and he'll have a soccer lineup. He'll be good to go.
That's right. It's just incredible. I am in awe of he and his wife. And
that's awesome. Good for them.
Pretty amazing.
Good for them.
Pretty amazing, man.
It's awesome.
So as everybody heard, the Pittsburgh Steelers no longer play at Heinz Field. They now play at Acrisure Stadium. That's Acrisure, Acrisure. This is a company based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And no, I didn't have anything to do with it. It's about 45
Everything
minutes.
in Michigan sucks.
It really does. Although we have good beer.
That's true.
It's a real estate tech. It does a little bit of everything. All right. And the link to the Steelers was a guy by the name of Thomas Tull, who most Steeler fans know because of Legendary Pictures, which he's not part of anymore. But when you go back to the epic movie Dark Knight Returns, you saw people like Heinz Ward, Ben Roethlisberger, Omar Khan was in there. We heard there was a Scarpino guy somewhere deep in there, but they couldn't credit him on the movie. Anyway, that's the guy we're talking about. And the man that runs Acrisure now has been a lifelong Steelers fan. Look, I get it. But we'll get into all of this. So the thing I want to get into first with Chrissy and Ryan, who are in Pittsburgh. Chrissy, what has been the reception amongst your friends, people you've talked to? What has been the reception of this?
I feel like it's like Star Lake, right? So Star Lake Amphitheater has been Star Lake and then 500 other things. And now it's back to Star Lake. And it didn't matter what it was called. You were still going to Star Lake for whatever concert or whatever in the summer.
No, that's a great example.
So I think it could be called whatever. And it could change from however you say it now to 3 other things and it'll still be Heinz Field.
Do you think, Chrissy, that it will ever take on Acrisure at all, or people just say, "Hey, we're going to Heinz"?
No, I mean, if I don't have a beer right now, but after a couple, I can't say it's sober. Like after a couple beers, I'm gonna be like,
It will be funny. They could do that, like in the fourth quarter. They could have one of those, kind of games or something where they bring the camera and Missy Matthews can go down there and find the drunkest people and say, okay, you get 2 chances to say Acrisure. Right. And we'll give you an autograph,
and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Because Heinz just, you can be drunk, you can be comatose and still say it. Whereas Acrisure, I don't know. Scarps, what was your overall impression when you heard all this?
Well, I prepared a State of Yin's Union. I can run through that real quick.
Hear ye.
Well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say this, and I think this sort of, to my fellow Pittsburghers and Steelers fans, when the news first broke, I feel like we all had the same thought. What is Acrisure? Like most of Yin's, I initially thought it was some BS on Twitter. Hi, Ian.
Hi, guys.
Welcome to my State of Yin's Union. Then the confirmations came in, and truly, it became a sad day in Pittsburgh sports history. And I know that might sound silly. I'm sure there's some diehard Steelers fans out there that are tuning in that aren't from here. But if you're not from here, you truly can't understand. And you probably laughed at our expense on Monday. But unless you were born here, lived here, you can't comprehend how much it stings. The Steelers are woven into a Pittsburghers DNA. The team's blue-collar style that was forged in the 70s has been instilled in every Pittsburgher, even long after the steel industry left. Three River Stadium demolished, but we got PNC Park. PNC, a local, regional, and national player, but first and foremost local. Mm-hmm. We got Heinz Field. Heinz puts out food over 6 continents. First and foremost, a local player. You got to understand something. We still give directions based on landmarks, okay? Whether they're still there or not there.
I was going to say, not just still there. Ones that weren't. You need to get down there where the Isleys used to be and hang a left.
Listen.
Exactly.
If you know where the Eaton Park is on Banksville Road or where the old Rax's roast beef used to be on Penn Avenue, I will get you anywhere in the city, okay? I just want to say that. So Acrisure is a brokerage company that they utilize artificial intelligence and other high-tech tools to connect clients to insurance companies. That is to Pittsburghers as winning Super Bowls is to the fans of, say, the Lions, Browns, or Cardinals. There is no relation. I understand that Pittsburgh is now a tech hub, but Acrisure is simply not something we as Pittsburghers can or will embrace. We hold our truths to be self-evident. And as much as it hurts, it's business. Money talks. Call it Heinz Field. Call it Rooney Field at Three Rivers. Call me maybe. But what's done is done. It'll take time to get over this. And you know what cures all? Winning.
Beautiful. Outstanding, Scarps. That was terrific. Wow. I'm almost speechless at this particular point. Chrissy, the rumor is the Steelers, it's $150 million for 15 years. Do you think this was a matter of nobody else was going to touch that number? And when they saw that, they're like, we don't care what your name is. We're taking it.
I feel like it. I mean, I don't know. I think they're trying to maybe improve what Pittsburgh is, I guess, just like that Steel City thing going on. But I feel like people are moving on from that. And I think that's what the idea was behind this. Look, if somebody was going to give me that money, I'd probably take it too, but I don't know about this one.
Would Ryan alluded to it, but would it matter if this was a Pittsburgh-based company? Would there be even half the reaction? Do you think?
I think it'd be a better reaction.
Yeah. I mean,
Heinz is it's still here, but it's co-headquartered out in Chicago, right? So
yes, it is now. Yep. Mm-hmm. I've done my best to keep Ben from talking to this point because I know he probably has a few things to say about it. Ben, your thoughts on Acrisure Stadium? Unmute yourself, Ben.
Ben has no thoughts, so I'll jump in.
Nope. We've lost Ben.
Go ahead, Ian.
He must have spilled his whiskey. Ian, go ahead.
Did Ryan touch on the fact that Heinz has gone downhill ever since they merged with Kraft anyways? And we all know who is a big beneficiary of the Kraft Corporation and all their corporate lawyers and what they're able to get away with. But at any rate,
right.
No, I mean, Ryan hit the nail on the head. Heinz is a local company, and, and he's right. Pittsburghers have been calling the pavilion out in Burgettstown Star Lake for 20 years when it went through 20 different names because it changed sponsorships every year. Yeah. And everyone's just like, screw it. It's still Star Lake to me. We're going down there, Burgettstown, to see Jimmy Buffett and the Parrot Heads. Speaking of which, Jimmy Buffett is there this weekend. But at any rate,
Margaritaville.
It's Pittsburghers are still going to call it Heinz Field. They're still gonna, the one funny thing is, Acrisure sounds very much the ending like North Shore where the stadiums are. So it's like these guys going down North Shore, like it's gonna be a weird thing, and it's just it doesn't roll off the tongue in Pittsburghese, and it's gonna become everything. To Ryan's point, right? When the Penguins built a new arena, it was sponsored by a company that's headquartered in Cannonsburg, which is 20 miles from the Penguins Stadium. It's in Washington County. It's the next county over, and no one knew how to pronounce console or console
or Washington.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, whatever it was, the Console Energy Center. No one's going to pronounce this right, and it just is what it is,
Especially in Pittsburghese.
Yeah,
drunk Pittsburghese.
yeah. Once you're 2 or 3 beers in, it's whatever,
I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be called the ACK.
The what?
The ACK. Acrisure. Just call it the ACK. Make it as simple as possible.
No, fuck that.
No.
I think.
Well, that makes sense because that's what people say every time they see Mitch Trubisky try and throw to his left.
Ooh, man, Ian's coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Wow.
I was off last week. I have to bring it.
That's true. That's true. Ben, welcome back. What are your thoughts on this?
At the end of the day, and I'm just looking at it strictly financially.
Yeah.
They wanted Heinz to stick around.
Yep.
But they couldn't come to a number. My understanding is they offered to continue the sponsorship with Heinz, just not at the $5 million a year they were paying before, at a number north of that, but not as high as they're getting now. Right. And Heinz they just weren't interested in doing it. If you recall, the original deal with Heinz was $100 million over 20 years.
Right.
Right.
And this is a significant.
And this is 150 over 15. It's double. They're doubling the naming rights, and honestly, I mean, the salary cap being what it is, the Steelers not being a cash rich team,
that's a great point.
Smaller market, this helps them. At the end of the day, it just comes down to business, and it sucks from my standpoint. It's like we were talking about before we started recording. I mean. Looking about all the games, all the great players we watched play games at Heinz, right? And it's gonna be like, remember when Heinz Ward caught that first down and went for 30 yards in Acrisure Stadium? No. I mean, I just and I think within 12 months, people will get over it. It'll be fine. I think that Acrisure is trying to make some inroads into the Pittsburgh community. They're gonna donate some charity dollars.
Big dollars.
Try and spread some goodwill throughout the community to improve their image, so that maybe they can join the community, for lack of a better way of putting it. Maybe they should open a fucking office. How about that for a thought?
There's space,
right?
There is.
I think in 12 months from now, we'll be over it. But we'll still be calling it Heinz, as pointed out.
I got a couple quick points, and I'll shut up. But so the one thing I would mention is because the stadium is shared with Pitt, and also it hosts other things. I can understand not naming it Rooney Field or any. I can understand that, like, because it's not just Steelers, and that's a whole. We could talk about that forever, but so I can understand.
Yes,
that.
It is. God damn it.
Well, okay, but I would also like to point out, and I was talking to people about this, that the Sports and Exhibition Authority, the SEA, owns PNC Park, Acrisure Stadium now, PPG Paints Arena. They basically own the entire North Shore, and then they also own the convention center. And people were saying, well, what do they have to do with it? Well, they're the property owner, and they lease it, and they let teams run it. So if I'm the property owner and I have a bunch of properties, you're not going to do anything without my input.
Mm-hmm.
So the SEA was probably looking at this like, okay, $57 million over 20 years with Heinz versus $150 over 15. I'm not going to tell you what to do as a property owner, but and so that's why I'm saying that, like, and local companies had fun with it, like Turner's Dairy. Like, if you've never had a Turner's iced tea in a carton, you have no idea you're what you're missing. But they joked, they're like, sorry we didn't have like a gazillion dollars, and I thought that was very clever of them. But I also say too that UPMC, you have to think UPMC at least was in the conversation, right? But I don't think healthcare is as trendy and sexy as a brokerage firm that uses artificial intelligence and is putting up the money that has a Steelers owner Thomas Tull influence. There's so many. This is so much bigger than a name. This is a strategic business move by the Steelers and other big parties involved that are going to develop the North Shore. They're going to hopefully make amendments and changes to the stadium. They're going to maybe add some seats. They're going to maybe add some concession stands. I don't know. All I know is they got a lot of money that's public now and people know about it. And if they don't use it appropriately and if they don't win, it's not going to reflect positive.
The last part's key. You don't win is none of this matters. Have you guys heard anything in regards? I'll just throw this out to everybody because I don't know the answer to this. Are there going to be any significant cosmetic changes to the stadium at all? I mean, other than obviously the signage. I mean, are they? I haven't heard, but apparently not.
They're trying to add seats where they can.
Right. And I did. They were on my local news here.
Maybe close the north end, you dicks.
Well.
They got to talk to the SEA first.
Yeah. But they had the Grand Rapids station north of me had a good story on it. They had, I believe his name is Robinson is the guy that kind of runs the show at Acrisure. And he's extremely excited about it. And like I said at the beginning, he's a lifelong Steelers fan. This is kind of like a kid in a candy store type thing for him. And, but he did talk.
Awesome. Good for him.
Well, and he talked, as Ben pointed out too, they're going to pump some significant dollars into the Children's Hospital here and other charities as well. So I agree. It'll always be Heinz to me. I'm going to struggle with it, partially because I'm old.
I mean, you are, but it's always going to be Heinz to all of us. Anybody who's watched the Steelers for the last 20 years, it's going to be Heinz Field. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it is what it is.
Ian, let me ask you, did you struggle to call Heinz after Three Rivers? Because to me, you wouldn't, because it's a completely different facility.
Exactly. It's a completely different building. Yeah. I sadly, the day Three Rivers came down was sad to me. Like, 'cause I had so many great memories there. Yep. Going to games with my dad growing up, I felt like it was almost my second home. But it was a completely different building. So, it didn't even register to kind of call it the same thing. And it wasn't even on the same, it wasn't on the same footprint, right? Like where Three Rivers was is now a parking lot, where Heinz was built used to be a parking lot. So it was completely different. The one thing I will say though is we did to give Acrisure Acupuncture Stadium, whatever we're calling it, some kind of bit of credit here. We didn't wind up with a company, I don't think, that is doing business dubiously like Enron Field or something.
That's
like
a really good point.
That's a great point.
The other thing is there are far worse names out there.
Yes.
Like the University of Louisville has the KFC Yum Center where their basketball team plays, and Papa John's Stadium where their football team plays. Like, I
think they finally changed that though.
Maybe they did.
We just drove through there a couple weeks back, and I did not see Papa John anywhere.
Yeah, but and we're not the first city to go through this.
No.
Just thinking about it, like, where did the LA Lakers play?
Staples Center.
It's Crypto.com Arena now.
Oh, fuck.
Where? Where do?
Hey man, what Magic used to play at the Forum, right?
Western Forum
in Englewood,
Yeah, the Boston Garden is now the Fleet Center. No one's gonna call it that.
No, it is. It's still the Garden.
Yeah, exactly. There's a handful of others out there too that even New Orleans, where the Super Bowl was this year,
Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, no, it's the Caesars Sportsbook.
Yeah, they changed it.
They changed
Mercedes
it.
Is
Bro, I can't keep
now.
up with this shit.
See, exactly. Nobody knows what anything's called anymore. It really doesn't matter that
Besides
much.
Lambeau Field, and I was trying to think about this before we came up, but besides like Lambeau Field, which I'll probably be dead if that's ever changed, but
Soldier Field,
Wrigley Field, Fenway Park,
Green Bay, Chicago, Cincinnati. And I think those are the 3 NFL teams that don't have sponsors.
Even Arrowhead has a sponsor now.
Arrowhead has a sponsor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
in
but
Denver,
they still call it Arrowhead Stadium.
They do, but it's got a.
Denver's always going to be Mile High Stadium, whether it's Sports Authority Field at Mile High.
They call it. Yeah, they call it whatever stadium at Mile
High Club Stadium.
Ryan Clark can't play here. Stadium.
Yeah. John Elway looks like a horse. I don't even care right now. I'm so upset my Monday. That Monday ruined me, okay?
Yeah, it did.
The look on Chrissy's face is like, why am I on this show right now?
Well, my husband's texting me right now, like naming all these stadiums, trying to keep up.
Oh, is Bob somewhere like in the area? Does he want to drop in? I mean, hey, everybody else is today.
No one could be worse than me, all right?
Oh yeah!
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Scarlett.
Don't lay down the challenge, man.
Thank you.
Don't lay down the challenge.
At least we're not like the Carolina Panthers that have Bank of America Stadium and have to do everything they can not to call it Bofa Stadium. Okay.
So when we were talking about that, the first one that came to mind, and it's not it anymore.
Yeah.
Was University of Phoenix Stadium. It's now State Farm Stadium.
That's right.
And no disrespect to the University of Phoenix. Nope. I'm just saying that like it just none of that makes like it just doesn't make any sense. Like it just like good for University of Phoenix, but like they're like what the hell are we doing here? Like I mean, call it Boomer Esiason was here for 15 minutes stadium. Like, I'm just saying, or Todd Haley coached here for a hot minute. Bless his heart.
Chrissy, now I know you guys like to go to PNC Park, right? You guys like to go take in a ball game. Is there something about going to PNC Park to enjoy? I mean, because you clearly don't go there for the baseball team. Sorry, it's true. I mean,
baseball's fun to watch, even if the team kind of does suck, honestly. Yeah. And the stadium's really nice.
It's the best stadium in baseball.
And you walk in with low expectations.
Well, you would have to. I mean, I don't know. Well, Chrissy, usually you're about 6 beers in by the first inning, right?
Right.
Are you really?
If I make it in.
That's what I'm talking about right
Chrissy
there.
Can drink, man.
Usually I get stuck in the parking lot.
There you go.
The view at PNC is
it's the best.
It's the view.
The best. It really is.
But when they were good, that place was like banging. Like that was a good atmosphere. But like, yeah, I didn't like. I mean, this is probably blasphemous, but I didn't like the name was fine. But I've never liked Heinz Field. Even before I worked there, I used to go to pit games as well.
Why?
I hated the yellow seats. I hated the openness.
Really?
Yes, I really feel like they had an opportunity. I really do feel like the Steelers had an opportunity to be pioneers of this, not SoFi and Jerry World, not those, not those so much, but and I'll tell you this, and you're gonna get hate mail, send it to Steel Dad, but the same architect that designed M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore designed Heinz Field, and M&T Bank is so much better than Heinz Field. It's not even funny. Yes. Truth.
What pioneering?
Yeah, what was better?
I think they should have used.
And I don't even. So it's not even like M&T Bank is more closed, which was first of all, which was good. The seats were closer, and it just feels different. Heinz is more like
you're away from it.
Up and
it
over,
goes up
like,
and out.
Especially when you get in that 500 section, it's like this. Like M&T Bank is more compact and it's louder.
That's the thing I miss about Three Rivers.
Three Rivers was
a shitty stadium. It was fucking terrible, but it was so loud that it made it fun.
I agree.
It was a great experience.
And I'm not saying Heinz is terrible.
Heinz is good.
Heinz is good. I just feel like they missed an opportunity. Like, in my opinion, they basically took Three Rivers, which was circular, and they just converted it to Heinz, which was more open. Like, I felt that like it was.
So that's again, what opportunity did they miss?
They messed. I will say this: they messed up some stuff with Heinz Field. Like, our original season tickets that we had were up in the 500 level. They were in like 540 or something like that. Like the second section in on the open end. And for day games, you couldn't see the Jumbotron because like because of the way the sun was and the angle of your seat looking like down at it. You couldn't see it, and it took them like 3 years to put little TVs up on the overhangs so that people could be like, "Oh yeah, I can see what's happening now," because they didn't have the second Jumbotron at the other end. So like they architecturally they did mess some stuff up with Heinz.
And also the number of things they've had to add. And I get that seats is one thing, but they've had to add a is it the PNC Champions Club? Or they've had to add clubs. They've had to add another scoreboard. They've had to make amenities to the scoreboards. Like honestly, like it's much better now for concerts than it used to be. But like it used to just be like, I mean, fuck, like you, like it was just the sound. There was no way to capture any sort of sound ever. I mean, like I said, and I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm just saying that, like,
no, I get it. It goes up and out. It's not.
Yeah, no, it spills out onto the river. Basically, the sound spills out onto the river. Where
Michigan Stadium is the same way.
Diametric opposite. Diametric opposite.
Enough Michigan talk.
The Seahawks Stadium is open on one end. The Seahawks Stadium is open on one end, similar to Heinz, right? But it's designed so that all the sound reverberates back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's louder. I swear to God, it's the loudest stadium I've ever been in my life.
It is really
loud. It's ridiculous.
Seattle and Kansas City. Seattle and Kansas City are two of the loudest stadiums, and they're both open-air stadiums, but they figured it out archecturally how to keep the sound in.
Well, and Three Rivers was that way. It was deafening. When
it was unbelievable.
Three Rivers got rocketing at that, and you were always worried about it because it was a really old stadium, and the seats would shake. You were like,
"No, I know.
Oh, I don't know, man."
I would also say too, and I'm going to grab a beer after this as I ponder this. But do you think that fan engagement back then was much better than it is now? Because I do believe it is.
On game day?
On game day.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
But even with
not
Seattle,
even close.
Even with Seattle and Kansas City, everybody got a smartphone now. They're still able to capture that energy and engagement and loudness, even if everyone's not paying attention. And I feel this even about the Penguins, opposed to other NHL arenas. You can hear a pin drop at PPG Paints, even like during the playoffs. And like I feel that Heinz is similar. And I know it's,
there's moments.
We haven't won a playoff game there in a while, but like I feel that Heinz is similar. So like they have to figure out a way to capture that energy, and it's even hard to do. In my opinion, it's even hard to do in a hockey arena. So how do you do that for times 3 as opposed to PPG Paints when you got 70,000 in Heinz and 20,000 PPG? Something to think about.
I want to get Chrissy out of here because we've bored her to death.
Sorry, Chrissy.
She looks really bored.
That was my fault.
Laughing at us.
No, it's
I don't know why
right.
you're not drinking, Chrissy.
She's been thoroughly entertained this evening. In any case, wait, what Bob say?
He didn't come in yet.
Oh, he didn't come in. Okay, all right. Anyway, Chrissy, love you to death. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you in your Acrisure Stadium T-shirt. I'm gonna make sure that you get one of those, and all that. So go ahead, get out of here, kiddo. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Thank you, Chrissy. Shocker.
Bye, Chrissy. Thank you.
You didn't have to kick her off.
I did, but we were going to start talking some football, and I had to be an asshole. I think Ryan, you brought up a really.
Where
good
the hell
point
is
there.
Ellie? I wanted us to be able to hear
for fuck's
Acrisure
sake.
in British.
Acrisure.
Acrisure.
How would it sound? Acrisure. Acrisure. I don't know.
Acrisure.
But I thought
Acrisure, yeah.
Acrisure. There's a Acrisure over there.
What?
John Paul George and Acrisure. It's in fucking Liverpool,
Oh, well, John Lennon, everyone, has joined the show.
I don't know if that was John. It might be like
John or Paul.
Hey, John, how are you?
Can you do Mick Jagger? What if the Stones come back? What are they gonna say?
Well, I guess they could. Yeah.
Hello, Heinzfield. Whoops, sorry, Art. Hello, your baby.
Yeah. I'm a piece of shit. Can I get a beer?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick time out. You get the beer. I'll read our latest ad, which, of course, is for our good friends at DEK Roofing. The show is proudly sponsored by them. They are down in South Florida. They serve Broward and the southern Palm Beach counties, whether it's commercial, industrial, residential, multi-family, or condos. Contact DEK Roofing today by visiting dekroofing.com. It is what it is. Times change. And, if Acrisure does end up, and I think they should put an office in Pittsburgh, then I think it's great. But I really think that's part of what they should do. But that's just me.
I mean, maybe if you had employees locally, at least you'd have that voice. Yeah, this is a good company. They're actually good.
And I mean, it's a hell of a lot easier to give tickets to local employees than it is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, to say, hey, here's some tickets to the Steelers game. Now go ahead and drive 6.5 hours, or fly in there. But yeah, I think it'd be good if they set that up. So I did actually want to talk a little bit of football tonight, but before Scarps gets back with his beer, what's the worst stadium name out there right now?
Oh, I named them all.
You did name a few.
Yeah. Right now, if we're just talking professional, like taking the KFC Yum Center out of it, which is just ridiculous.
It is so stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the crypto.com arena, now that the Lakers are playing in, is pretty bad. I mean,
it is.
I don't know, anything named after a pyramid scheme just seems like a bad idea. Which there was another one too. One of the Florida teams had a arena that was basically, it was like Amalie Arena or something, maybe in the Magic or someone like that were in
Lightning?
It might have been it was the Lightning. Yeah. But like Amalie was the parent company of Quickstar, which was basically like a mid-level marketing or multi-level marketing. It was basically a pyramid scheme for like goods and products. It was like, like Mary Kay or whatever it is. It's a
like
pyramid
Amway.
scheme.
Amway,
Amway, same thing. So, at least we're not named after a pyramid scheme.
Wasn't there an Amway bowl for a while?
There might have been. Yeah.
I think there was a college football bowl that was that Amway sponsored.
There could have been. I mean, they're based out of Grand Rapids. The Amway Grand is still a big hotel up there and everything, but yeah, I mean, it's not nearly what it used to be.
Yeah. And crypto just seems like a pyramid scheme to me. I don't know. Maybe someone else can educate me. You can send all hate mail to Steel Dad on Twitter. But
Yeah,
it seems like a pyramid scheme.
There were a lot of millionaires that aren't millionaires anymore because of the stock market.
That happened quick, didn't it?
Well, because crypto dropped like a rock.
Oh yeah.
Bingo. Yeah. Hey, let's talk a little bit of football. Now that we're done talking stadium stuff.
Is this a football podcast?
Believe it or not, it is. I know everybody's like 33 minutes in, they're finally talking football. Well, hey, it's the off-season.
We were really heavily invested in this name change emotionally.
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't.
Well, in any case,
I pretended to be for a little while.
I have a concern, and I don't think anybody's talking about it.
I've been talking about your fucking concern since the goddamn draft.
You have. I just don't think that anybody's talking enough about it. And I think the concern is at center. I don't know that Mason Cole is that big of an upgrade over Kendrick Green. Ben, I'm going to go to you because you've been on top of this.
I don't think that Mason Cole is that big an upgrade to JC. How do you say it, Ryan? Hassan Saucer.
Barbecue saucer.
Hassan Saucer
or
Hassanauer.
Acrisure saucer.
Hassanauer. Okay, because Hassanauer was obviously the better center last year of the two. All right.
Was that
stable?
Was that the Titans game he started?
Yeah.
Was that it?
He did.
Let's just go
clear.
As day.
Yes.
Let's just go with that as a reference point and say, okay, this is the bar. Is he better than this guy?
Right.
Probably a little, maybe. He's not Sean Mahan based upon the tape that I've watched.
Sean Mahan was awful. My goodness.
Thank God.
That dude wound up on his back more than he was standing up.
Constantly. And then Justin Hartwood came in and you were like, Jesus Christ, it was fucking day and night.
It was the other way, but go ahead. It was we drafted Pouncey after Mahan. Hartwig retired. Hartwig retired. We signed Mahan for a year.
Sorry.
Then we drafted Pouncey.
Thank you, Ian.
The mistake was that we drafted Ziggy Hood instead of Max Unger with the 31st or the 32nd pick in the 2009 draft and had to live through Sean Mahan.
Yeah,
and Max Unger had like a 13-year career. But we did wind up with Pouncey.
The 2008 and the 2009 drafts were among the worst drafts of the last 2 decades. They were fucking horrible.
Got cut my first year there, 2010, when we drafted Pouncey.
No. Hartwig wasn't there.
Yes, he was.
I think the only way I would have met him.
I think he'd know.
That was the only way I would have met Justin Hartwig.
Was he injured in 2009? We'll have to go back and look.
Anyway,
back to the point at hand. Right?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm
Mason Cole. Watching his film, the guy is not impressive, especially at center. I'd be way more comfortable with him at guard. He says he's more comfortable at center. They put him at center. If it were up to me, I would put James Daniels at center, and I would move Kevin Dotson over to right guard, which is his natural position. And then I would say Mason Cole, you and Kendrick Green over here can compete for snaps at left guard, and we'll figure it out. That is my take on it. And until these fuckers prove me wrong, and please, baby Jesus, let them do that. Prove me wrong.
Hold on. We have a quick bulletin here. Quick bulletin. Ian
I was wrong
about something.
I was wrong.
Holy shit.
I was wrong. I have to apologize for this. I am sorry, listeners. I looked this up. Sean Mahan was signed in 2007 after Jeff Hardings left. So Mahan was signed in 2007 after a disastrous 2007 season. He was traded to Tampa Bay. They signed Mahan to a 5-year deal in 2007.
Holy shit.
And traded him after 1 year, and then signed Justin Hartwig in free agency. Hartwig started 2008, the Super Bowl year, 2000 and 2009, and then was beat out by Pouncey in 10. So Ryan was right. Ryan was right that Hartwig was there in 2010. I was wrong I apologize.
This
However,
is a very rare thing, ladies and gentlemen.
I
Ian
thought
is
that Hartwig-
rarely wrong.
yeah,
about shit
Yeah.
like this because he's got
And
the
I'm
memory of a
serious
goddamn
about that.
elephant.
yeah,
He does have the memory of an elephant.
He
But
does.
yeah,
Probably-
I thought Hartwig was after Mahan.
you're right.
But
Hartwig was after me.
Anyway,
Yeah.
point being,
I'll drink more whiskey.
yeah, that's great. Here's to that. Just Mason Cole, again, getting back to this year.
Yeah.
The offensive line is still the weak link in that unit, and that's
I
your
agree.
foundation. That's the foundation for your fucking unit. And until that foundation is strong, your unit's not really going to go anyplace.
And it's the middle, too. And that's what scares me, because if you can't contain the middle, then your whole offense blows up. And how many times did we see that last year?
Over and over
Yeah.
and over.
And when you go back, as Ben, you pointed out, when you go back, you watch little Mason Cole when he was with Minnesota, I get a little nervous.
Again, and Ian pointed this out in our chat this week.
Yeah.
The fact that Ben Roethlisberger got the ball out on average in 2.1 seconds
Nuts.
last season,
Nuts.
covered a lot of the warts of that offensive line, and they still were abysmal. They were fucking horrible. To believe that guys who are either completely inexperienced or a great deal less experienced than that 17-year pro, excuse me, to believe that they're going to be able to make decisions as quickly as that guy did and make the correct decision and be as effective as a quarterback is foolhardy, in my opinion.
Well,
I think that the guy on the roster who has the best shot of doing that is probably Mitch Trubisky, but that's not to say that he's going to be good. And the guy can't throw to his left, again, as Ian has pointed out on numerous occasions, and I agree with him. So those two positions between the offensive line, and I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to say I'm not impressed at all with Chooks. So center, right tackle, not happy right now. Dan Moore, I think, is an ascending player. They'll figure out what's going on at left guard eventually. I don't see Kendrick Green winning it, but if he does, he does. James Daniel is a solid player.
Fantastic
He's
player.
going to be a good offensive alignment there. Chooks and Mason Cole are not – I'm not enthusiastic about.
I'm with you.
So, Ben, I have a follow-up question here. So, assuming we put James Daniels at right guard.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Where he is.
Yeah. Instead of the statue that was Trey Turner there.
He was a bullfighter, Ian. He had a cape.
He had an Olay.
He would wave it around.
Sometimes he wouldn't even wave those. Sometimes
as the
he'd just
pass rushers
stand there.
ran by, he just
Yeah.
whipped it past him. He's like,
Sometimes he'd just stand there with his hands up and just be like, who am I going to block? Not that guy. Not that guy either. Meh.
Yep.
Yeah. So at any rate, a lot of offensive line play that doesn't get talked about is communication, right?
For sure.
When you've got stunts and twists, you got to communicate. James
Absolutely.
Daniels is a much better player, I think, than Trey Turner.
Oh, God. Yes.
So if he's a better communicator at that right guard spot, does that also make whoever's at center and whoever's at right tackle better?
Yes. But
would
will
say
that
so.
make Mason Cole good enough? Will that make Chooks Okorafor on an island good enough versus speed rushers where he's weak?
No. And here's
And
the other thing.
that's my concern, because that's the trend now, is to put your speed rusher at left end and let him beat the lesser tackle on that side.
Right.
Yeah.
TJ Watt, look no further.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I mean, and I don't face as many double teams. This is fantastic.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too to look at is who's going to be making the line calls on the field, because last year they tried to have Kendrick Green make the line calls on the field, which was a terrible friggin' decision.
Did not work.
No, it did not at all. For years, actually, Ramon Foster was the guy who made the line calls on the field. And then he would kind of tap smack Pouncey in the butt and be like, all right, we're good, snap the ball, So it doesn't have to be your center necessarily. Maybe it's James Daniels that makes the calls.
It's got to be one of the guards or the center. And it's preferable that it's your center, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So somebody's got to make the calls, but who's it going to be? They have a new line coach. So there's still a lot of questions on how this line gets put together. And I agree.
The other aspect of this line concern is that the offensive line coach they hired does not have an outstanding track record. It's
a mixed bag.
It's muddled. It's gone anywhere from mediocre to poor. Well, and don't get me wrong, if the Steelers are a top 15 offensive line this year, that is an incredible improvement.
Yeah.
Immense, because last year they were fucking horrible.
I agree
that. We're not part of the Sunshine Squad here. We can admit that sometimes the Steelers don't play well. Oh my God.
Yes. You will get brutal honesty here.
Sometimes the guys from the other team make a play.
It happens. Yeah, I think that's often a number one thing that fans don't realize is that there are pretty good players on the opposition.
Yeah, like everybody in the NFL and everybody in the NFL.
Plays.
The 53rd man on the roster is actually really good.
Yeah. They can make plays. I just think it's something that people are really overestimating or maybe undervaluing. I'm not sure the right way to say it, that the line is just magically going to be so much better. And until I see it, I can't go there.
It is magic.
It damn well better be some kind of magic. Right.
Yeah, just one thing I want to add, and I agree with Ben and Ian. Obviously, from 2015 to 2020, Ben was sacked 97 times in 73 starts.
Yeah.
Last year, he was sacked 38 times.
Yeah.
Even when he had no knees last year and he struck 38 times. I guess this all circles back to between 2015 and 2020, they had the staples at the O-line, right? Like you knew the names. You knew that, there might be a blown assignment every once in a while, but you're pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
You add in new components on the line. You add in a new offensive line coach, and you add in a new quarterback. Ben sacked 38 times last year the dude couldn't even run. He could barely move.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I really, really, really just don't understand this suit. I'm optimistic. I don't want to be called a hater, but I don't understand this super optimism like, we're going to be a problem on offense or Naj is going to do this.
It's that time of the year.
And it's listen, Naj did an incredible job last year, but there are so many new parts to this offense, including
Najee Harris kicked ass last year.
Oh, he did.
Because on I would say 2/3 of the snaps, the defense was anticipating the run, and they knew the offensive line was fucking horrible.
Oh yeah,
and the guy still ran for 1,200 yards.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised this year for regression because of the quarterback isn't been in the system. I hate to say this.
I would be surprised if Najee and the run game regressed this year. I will not be at all surprised if the passing game regressed.
Okay, so he doesn't catch as many checkdowns, but his run efficiency is just
is better.
I don't know. I really don't.
I think his run efficiency. Honestly, their run efficiency last year was not great.
No,
but
I think
it was competent. I expected it to be better than that this season. And I'm the thing I'm concerned about straight up is the passing game. And they've got weapons at wide receiver that are great.
Mm-hmm.
But if the guy throwing the fucking ball can't get it to him, what goddamn difference does that make?
And we've never seen anybody throwing the ball besides Mason We've never seen anybody under center right now that's a Steeler besides Mason throw the football.
Everybody on this podcast is a huge Mason Rudolph fan, but
I'm just saying, like.
And on that note, let me jump in real quick and remind everybody, as part of the Pigskin Podcast Network, we're greatly appreciative of being with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Yeah, somebody was talking on sports radio the other day. Oh, Roethlisberger, he's no knees. He was like a statue back there.
He was.
We've talked about it. He was, but we've talked about it many, many times. We've already talked about it tonight. The fact of the matter is, he processed information faster than Kenny Pickett will.
Because he could.
Faster than Mitch Trubisky will. And the ball got out. I don't know that we can say the same about these guys. I hope we can. I hope we can.
However,
other point, go ahead,
they are more mobile, which will buy them a little bit of time.
Right.
But that does not necessarily mean that they will be more effective.
Oh, exactly.
So I'm saying maybe they might, but for people that are out there going, oh, I think they're going to be way better at quarterback this year. No, they're fucking not. That is not a given, not even maybe. I don't think people realize how good Ben Roethlisberger was.
And what they don't realize is how good he was in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Because last year, Ben had 7 game-winning drives. We had 9 friggin' wins all year. 7 of those, 6 of them were fourth quarter comebacks. One of them was a game-winning drive that was in overtime that he led us to the victory. Baltimore at the end of the year. Mitch Trubisky, in his entire career, has 7 game-winning drives and 5 fourth-quarter comebacks. Ben had 6 fourth-quarter comebacks and 7 game-winning drives last year. Mitch Trubisky has started 57 games in his career to amass those 7 game-winning drives that Ben got in 16 games last year.
I think that is a great example.
It is.
Of what we're missing this year.
And that's not to say that Mitch Trubisky is going to suck.
No.
Maybe he has learned to throw to his left. Maybe this offense will roll him to the left, so he has 3/4 of the field every single time. He just throw it. I don't know.
But on the right hash. Right hash every time.
Ben had that clutch gene. Ben had the clutch gene. I don't know if Mason, or I don't know if I know Mason doesn't have it.
Ben was a fucking winner. Let's just call it what it was.
He was.
Yeah.
The guy, maybe he's a dick, but he was a winner. So the guy was a winner.
He was a winning dick.
Yeah, I would also like to point out, and I don't know if this maybe y'all can help me out here, but the Seattle game at home was won because of TJ Watt and Boz. But
Boz.
Did Ben? I don't know.
Yeah, he gets credit for it. Yeah.
Did he?
They ran a play.
Okay.
They came out and ran a play.
And I'm not gonna listen. I'm not. Listen. I will knock Ben on this at any point I can. But and that Ben too. But no,
Ryan hates Ben Roethlisberger.
No. I don't hate Ben Roethlisberger. I'm just saying.
Ryan hates everyone named Ben.
Yes, every Ben sucks. But so that gets counted. So even if you take away that, you still got 5 and 6. Regardless,
right?
There were games last year that they absolutely shouldn't have won, but they did.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this too, that they're 15-4-1 in their last 2 years in 1-score games, which is the best winning percentage in the NFL.
Nuts.
And I said this a couple days ago on Twitter, and people are like, "Oh, they're not going to regress." Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, can't you?
You have to. At some point, you have to regress.
Yes.
The other thing too about it is that they haven't been under 500 in 1-score games since 2013, which was their 8-8 season.
God, that was a horrible fucking defense. You're giving me nightmares now.
It was terrible. It was awful.
Oh my God, that was
Don't give me nightmares. Don't give me nightmares.
That was the year we started 0-4, right?
Yes. 0-4, 2-6,
but finished 8-8.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But my point is that
we lost that game to the Dolphins when Antonio Brown stepped out.
Fuck you.
Never mind.
Yes.
yeah, that was bad. But they've been so successful in these one-score games with a Hall of Fame quarterback,
Right.
and it's just like
Who
again,
could
I talk
process
about
information and get the ball out quickly.
yes, and it's just like even last year, like okay, so Ben had one because TJ Watt saved the day, but I'm gonna say this too. The guy only well, it's in his blood because only JJ Watt after a 20 sack season, only JJ Watt has even come close. I think he had 20 and then he had 17 and a half.
Right.
So he has the blood, he has the genes in his favor. But you got to expect that TJ Watt is if TJ Watt plateaus, that's still so much better than how many other players.
Mhm.
But you don't necessarily know if he's going to make those game-changing moments. And without a quarterback that can do that, I don't know.
I'm not saying that TJ Watt is going to get 22 sacks next year. I'm not going to make that kind of a boastful claim, even in a 17-game season. What I will say is the reason that he's been successful is that he pre-snap identifies the blocking scheme
Yeah.
and figures out the best avenue to get into the backfield. Okay, be that on a run snap, a passing snap, whatever. He's a cerebral player. Yes, he's relentless. Yes, he busts his ass. Yes, he goes 100% on every snap, which is why he pulls himself off the field sometimes. He takes a breath and then comes back in for, goes out for a play and comes right back in. It's fine.
Hey, Derek Chuska got 1 sack last year on a play when TJ Watt was out.
That was awesome.
It was a good play. Yeah.
And it was good.
was.
I was happy for the guy, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, that's probably the highlight of his career.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was.
But
Definitely.
the point being that that TJ is a cerebral guy, and the reason that he's been successful is his smarts. Yes, he turns the corner quickly. He has good lateral agility, but straight line speed is not his game. That ain't it. He's not that good an athlete. He's pretty good. He's pretty strong. He's not the best athlete in the field. I'll be frank. Myles Garrett's a better athlete, and he's bigger and he's stronger, but he's not more effective. He's not. He's not a better football player.
I won't disagree.
He's not a better football player. And why is that? Well,
they don't play the same position as well, but
they don't.
Well, and real quick too, I would like to congratulate TJ Watt and his lovely new bride, Danny. They got married in Mexico last weekend.
Must be hard having millions of dollars.
I tell you, I'm glad
Tens of millions.
I'm glad they scraped enough together to have a
Millions.
beautiful beach wedding. I was very happy for him. Joe Hayden looked like he had a great time. It's all that matters.
Yep.
I don't think on that topic though, Ben. I don't think JJ Watt gets enough credit for how bright he is.
I agree.
And I think part of that is his ability to know when to stop rushing the quarterback, fall off, and get those hands up sometimes.
Have
I don't
you
think
watched that guy over the course of a game?
It's crazy.
Anticipate the snap count?
Yeah.
You get into the third quarter with that guy, you're pretty much fucked. He's been listening to the quarterback the entire game, watching the ball go off.
Yeah.
He's got the sync between the center and the quarterback all figured out, and he knows. He knows by the tone of that quarterback's voice when the ball is going to be snapped, and he's off his mark as soon as the ball comes back.
I would, yeah.
I
haven't done it, but I'd love to see the other comparisons between road and home games because TJ is much, much better at home.
He is.
But I understand that. And I'd love to see what what other players at the edge position are. I might do that. That's my project this week.
I'm assigning that project to you, Ryan.
I want to know
if you could have that.
And I'm not going to do I'm going to do edge. I'm not listen, Aaron Donald. He's the best defensive player in football. Might be the best player in football. I'm not going to compare those two.
No,
but and I'm not necessarily going to compare Miles. But I just want to see what the sort of split is between home and away for anybody.
So I just looked up TJ Watt's stats.
Son of a bitch.
In his career. Hey, Pro Football Reference is
no,
great,
I get it. I use
that head, baby.
In in his career, TJ has 72 total sacks, 50 at home, 22 away.
Yeah, it's a huge discrepancy.
Yeah.
That's big, man. And I think last year there were 5 or 6 road games where he didn't register half a sack.
Yeah.
And I mean, his sack is whatever. But he has a bigger sack than me. But the point being that he does disappear in road games, and he also gets hurt a lot in road games too. And I'm not trying to be a dick. And if he's watching the show and he, comes at me, so be it. But like, he's just so dominant at home that and our road record has not been good as of late. He does disappear in those big moments on the road.
Okay. The numbers that Ian just spelled out, you can't argue.
He just texted Cam Hayward, said, "Fuck Scarpino. I'm gonna have 22 sacks on the road this year." And
Good.
I'm gonna lift up my jerseys and say, "Fuck."
I hope he does. I hope he does hear about this and take that as a personal fucking challenge.
Yeah, but yeah. By the way, Cam Hayward's got a podcast now. I shouldn't really be publicizing it.
Where he talks about life.
It's not really football. It's more about life.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. That's cool.
Yeah. So good for Cam. Good for Cam.
Good Morning America when he retires.
Seems forced.
Is there anything that Strahan doesn't do these days? I mean, the guy hosts everything. By the way, Le'Veon Bell, a former Pittsburgh Steeler, has decided, and I think in a way, he was forced into it because nobody wants him. He's going to be a boxer now. He's going to take on Adrian Peterson, the running back, and we'll see how. I almost said. Okay, very good, Ian. Very good. That's funny. Le'Veon Bell, a boxer.
I'm the worst.
Any thoughts on Le'Veon Bell's boxing career, gentlemen?
He sure as hell misses that $14.5 million he could have gotten from the Steelers for sitting out that year. Like, I'm not even
that's
talking
a really good point.
Signing another contract,
year,
right? That year,
he
could have made 14, and if he didn't sign a contract, if he just plays that year, he would have made $14.5 million. And he's all like, "If I had a time machine,
he would have made $14.5 million, and he would have made a minimum of 36 if he'd signed the Steelers offer. Minimum.
He didn't even make that with all of his contracts after that.
That's knocked out by that deal.
Huge fuck up on his part. Huge. Well, bad business decision, Le'Veon.
Yeah, I would just say that when I worked with him, he was very nice. He was very polite. Even after him and LeGarrette Blount got popped.
Did they offer you a hit? That's what I want to know. At any point in time, did they say,
they offer to smoke you out, Scarps?
You're too uptight, Scarps.
Hey, Scarps, hey.
No.
We'll smoke you out tomorrow.
No, but I do remember Nate, who's in Green Bay now, but me and Nate were the PR folks that had to talk to him at the time. And
yeah, I remember Nate. And
we both went up to LeGarrette and Le'Veon, and LeGarrette was like, "No, fuck these guys. They don't." I'm like, Nate and I looked at him. We're like, "We work for the fucking team. We're here for you." And like once Le'Veon heard that, he was like, "Okay, man, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Like, what do I need to do?" And I was like, "Dude, you don't have to apologize to us. We're just gonna help you like with what you need to say." So like, LeGarrette Blount was a bad influence on him that 2014 season. Yeah. Absolutely no doubt.
LeGarrette Blount's a dick. I know him personally. He's a fucking prick.
So here's the thing. LeGarrette Blount, I picked him up for a pre-draft visit months after he punched that dude from Boise State in the face, and he was 10 times nicer than Golden Tate, who left garbage in my 2002 Oldsmobile Intrigue. I've talked about this on the show. So when LeGarrette came back, like he literally was super cool too as well. He's like, "Oh, you still got that ride?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I don't make no money like you do." Like, of course I got and they were cool, but like you could see that influence LeGarrette had on it. So then they get popped going to the airport, which was fun. But Le'Veon was like very young and like if like he knew like when he fucked up, like he knew that stuff. So like he was very cool about it. But you could see as he got better as a player, he didn't care as much about that advice from the team. Now, of course, he listened to Coach Tomlin or whoever. He didn't give a shit about me anyway. But looking back on it, I don't think he cares so much about the season of 2018 as much it was like, I should have just played. Yeah. And you know what? If the wheels fell off, at least he had it. And then he could have signed a contract with the Steelers for a guaranteed amount of money.
Or whatever.
And if he never played whatever again, because that dude was broken the last couple years. Like he was. And even after he left the Steelers, he had success even with the Jets, he had success, but he was just broken. You know.
No, I agree.
You know,
I'm with you. Now, real quick, Ryan, when you say that you and Nate had to talk to these guys, where is this? Like physically, where is this that you're talking to?
Oh, them? That was we wanted to give him this was the day. This was the same day as the Philadelphia preseason game, 2014. Right? Yeah,
they get popped for smoking.
Yeah, so. I truly don't know if they made the team flight. I really don't know if they did or not. And I might be wrong. I might be right. Did. But
they were late.
All I know, so they might have made the flight. All I know is I was at team dinner and our boss came up to us. Actually, 2014. It wasn't Nate. It was Dom. It was Dom Ranelli.
Yep.
And Dom had been there for about 15 seconds because Nate had already gone to the Packers. And I remember we got the news. I was like, fuck, whatever. And then it was like, because I like to go out on the road. Like, I like to get a couple drinks. I'm like,
yeah.
But then it was like, wait a minute. They're high. They're not going to remember any of this. Like, fuck that, whatever. So we're like, we'll see him the next day. So literally when we got off the bus, we were waiting for him in the locker room. And it was the third preseason game, which is when people actually played. And I don't remember if they were punished. I can't remember. It's fucking, I'm old. But I don't know if they necessarily played that game or whatever. But it was just like, listen, regardless if you play or not, I don't know the strategy, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get asked about this after the game. Here's what you need to say. And after the game, they were very apologetic. They came across as reasonable and understandable. But the problem was that the cop, I have utmost respect for police officers, but he literally told the cop, the cop was like, have you been whatever? Have you been smoking? He's like, yeah. He was like, about a minute. And at that time, I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? A minute? I don't even know what that means. Like it's been a minute. Like he just smoked. And then the cop obviously smelled the weed and was like, yeah, come on, man. What are you doing? And he didn't care. But,
I seem to recall they played blunt quite a bit in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think Le'Veon played.
Yeah.
I don't think Le'Veon played. And I think they played LeGarrette as a punishment.
Yeah, he was into the fourth. Yeah,
I mean, honestly, at that point, when you're playing LeGarrette Blunt in the fourth quarter, versus,
I really do
fourth team guys versus the other team, you're punishing the other team.
Because
I mean, that guy, his style was straight ahead.
Yes, not a lot of wiggle there.
I just remember being I remember like I said, Dom was only there for a short time, but I remember just thinking to myself, who the fuck smokes weed before you get on an airplane like that?
Who the fuck smokes weed in a moving vehicle when you're on the way to the airport?
Yeah, but
the windows rolled down.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we had good food too. We had Giant Eagle Market District. You're not going to mistake weed for sushi. Todd Haley's like, oh, that's not the fucking miso tuna, maybe what the fuck are you doing? No, I mean, it was what the fuck? What are you doing? And I mean, it wasn't even that it was on the way to the team plane. It was really late. We took off at 2:30 and they got pulled over at 1:30. And I live right near where they got pulled over. And I'm like, shit, it's probably going to take you 30 minutes just to even get there if you're not speeding. So, like, what the fuck are you really doing?
Jeez.
Listen, I dominated this show. If I'm never invited back, whatever.
That has been story time with Scarps, ladies and gentlemen. You're not gonna get two guys
Scarps is also down in that beer like a champ. He just chugged like
he is, man.
That was awesome.
I'm wondering how many
he's killing
he had before the show
Yinglings.
started.
As AB used to say,
like
call
Anakin.
God. I don't know where he is now.
Oh,
I
he's
got you,
rapping
man.
AB,
somewhere.
not God.
He's rapping somewhere. Hey, you know what, guys? We are less than 2 weeks now from training camp starting, so a couple more shows coming up, and then we'll be in the thick of it, which is good. And the off season can be very, very rough, as you can tell by these shows. So, anyway,
one final point on that note, because
Ian.
I've mentioned this before on the show that during the off season, the only good news that happens is a contract extension. Other than that, there's only bad news that comes out. There are, arrests, there are suspensions, there are people getting in trouble for various things. And just this past week, we saw news about Zach Wilson.
Oh boy.
We saw news about Ian Cole in the National Hockey League, and a variety of other stories to back up my point that there are no good news stories in the offseason other than contract extensions. So no news is good news. Let's hope we get through these next 2 weeks before training camp starts with no news so we can have these fun shows and don't have to talk about stupid stuff happening like players getting arrested
you're absolutely
or
right.
sleeping with their friends' moms,
And has any player
mom's friends
or mom's
coming
friends,
from
whatever.
BYU? I mean, it's so appropriate. He was a BYU Cougar, for crying out loud. I mean, you can't get any more appropriate than that.
Real quick. So I don't necessarily know. The wife is bringing me. The wife.
Oh, look at this.
She's not on cash. She ain't about that life. But Zach Wilson was born in August of '99, and I don't even know if American Pie was out at that time. So not only did Zach Wilson sleep with his mom's friend, he missed The Graduate and American Pie releases. So like, this dude would fucking know, like, this dude has no basis,
right?
Like he doesn't have any roots, like, but still a legend. I'm not.
That's a great point.
God bless America.
Indeed. And on that note, we'll get on out of here.
Just saying.
For these guys and for Chrissy, we're signing off on the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And hey, go Steelers!
Ravens suck.
Zach Wilson, legend.